Hello everyone and welcome to WesterosCraft Walks. I'm your host Kobe.
And I'm Lucia.
And today we are doing the second part of King's Landing. It will be the Dragonsquare that you're seeing now and also Baelor sept. Over there you can already see the dragon pit for a future episode. And you see the dragon on the square where it's named after.
On the square itself there's the market hall just opposite us, the bath to the right, and then all around there are guilds. So right now we're actually in the bell tower of the Red Stag Inn.
Since the last episode there has also been an update of the server. We went from 1.7 to 1.1, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, or 1.11, something like
Yes.
that. We
Ones
upgraded
and points.
We upgraded the Minecraft version, so now there are a lot of cool new features. For example, last episode when we were standing on the mud gate, I tried it again now and the render distance is a lot further, so now we can see Baelor's and the Red Keep from there. I might also have heard the birds in the last clip. They've actually added environmental noise as well now. Also the steps, it depends on which material you're standing on, what noise it makes. It's quite fun.
We'd also like to thank Demodicus for helping us out with planning and doing some research for the videos. It really took some of the work off our hands. So the Red Stag Inn is actually one of the most expensive inns in King's Landing, and you can clearly see this by going room to room and just seeing the high quality and the fanciness basically of everything.
So the Red Stag Inn used to be called the Red Dragon Inn, but when Robert overthrew the Targaryen dynasty, he renamed it to the Red Stag Inn because Robert Baratheon sigil of his house is a stag, and the Targaryens were a dragon obviously, so he didn't want the dragon to be associated with this beautiful inn, so he just renamed it to Stag. So now we'll explore the inn a bit further, look at some more fancy rooms, and you've got a nice balcony here.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, got a nice view of all the buildings in the square.
Got a jewelry shop next door.
Yeah, that's what the building was. I like this one. I like this room. That's the jeweler's shop.
Any
over
reason
there.
why you prefer this room to the rest?
No, I don't prefer it. I just think it's a nice room.
Why are you not saying that about all the rooms?
Well, this
I
is
like
also
this
a nice.
room more.
I think this is the fanciest room. I got their own little library area. Yeah, so here you got a good look at the square. Thing down here is this is the lobby area. Then the kitchen is downstairs, I think.
Yeah, downstairs they have the area for the staff, the kitchen, and then just general storage. And out here they have some stables.
Yeah.
Where you gotta keep the ponies.
So now we'll head out to the square and have a look at some more buildings. Yeah, you've got a lot of buildings around here, a lot of important buildings. We'll go to every one of them, well almost everyone, but we'll start here. This is the jeweler that we saw outside of the window in the inn. And this is a bookstore?
Yeah.
Yeah? You can say what's in this.
So here you obviously have the books. And the people here would, again, obviously be able to read and write, so they would be able to keep track of what they sell, as we do now in normal stores. But then upstairs you have the living quarters, and more specifically the quarters for apprentices that would learn to read and write and everything that really you'd need to own your own business. A nice little view here from the balcony, because you know you got to relax after a day of work. Head upstairs and we'll take a look at some of the living quarters. So here we just have standard bedrooms, and then if we go upstairs, that's where you'll find where the owner lives, the grand book person.
The bookkeeper.
The bookkeeper.
So this
That
is
sounds
the
like a murderer.
owner, and then the lower bedrooms were
Would
probably
be the apprentices.
yeah, the apprentices.
Or just general staff, but it's quite small, so it would probably be apprentices more likely than staff.
Yeah.
And then up the ladder, you'll just find just general storage.
Yeah, nice storage. I like this storage area.
Yeah, it's built into the actual ceiling because you couldn't really put someone up here Unless they would be like a cleaner or a housekeeper, someone really low down.
Yeah, so this bookstore is on the Dragonsquare because it's the fancy part of town where, as you said, here in this part of town people would be able to read and write, but like normal people they wouldn't know how to. So
they didn't really need to, regular people.
So just the fancy people are here. So over there you can already get a glimpse of Baelor Sept. But before we go there, we'll have a look at the guild hall, which is right over there, the grey building. So the guild hall is where the guilds of King's Landing meet, and it's where they set the standard of productions within the city and also the surrounding area.
Some of the guilds are more prominent than others. So for instance, the Jewelers Guild, they actually have a separate building within the city as well as meeting here.
Yeah, so there are quite a few sectors that are big enough to have their own guilds, and some we will check out later in this video, and others are more spread around the city. For example, the Jewelers Guild, like you said, and the Masons Guild we will check out because they are on the Dragonsquare. So this is the meeting area. Got a nice big tables for, I imagine, the leaders of all the guilds. Oh, that's a private meeting area. So now we will cross the square again and have a look at the individual guilds. So the Masons Guild and the Jewelers Guild, they're both right next to each other. Just across the square over there. Running across the square. You got a good view of the Red Stag in there. So right in front of us we have the Masons Guild, and then to the right is the Jewelers Guild. A little view of the sept. So we'll have a look at the Masons first. Got the Mason sign, and that says it was founded in 172.
Something. There was a 1.
Yeah. Got a wheelchair here. I suppose some old Mason. Yeah.
The people that say, these kids, they'll never know the true blah blah blah
of masonry, the true
damn
form.
Kids.
Yeah. So this is where the Masons hang out. Like talk about stuff.
Not confused with the Freemasons.
And just a little hanging out place for the Masons. Got a little garden
workshop.
Oh, this is like a little garden I think they share with the jewelers. Let's go to the jewelers now. Yeah, you've got the jeweler sign over there.
And the founding sign saying 172, which is the same as the stonemasons.
So we'll explore this guild as well. Got the meeting table. Nice.
It would have been better if they had a stone meeting table in the stonemasons.
Yeah, was it wood? It was wood.
It was wood, and then it had just like cloth, because they're so wealthy. Look at them with all their cloth.
Yeah, I guess the jewelers would be more wealthier than the stonemasons.
But then the stonemasons, I guess, would have slightly more consistent work. You know, doing buildings and tombstones. But then jewelers, once they get work, they're gonna get really good pay for it.
Yeah, the masons, they'll never run out of work.
But then I guess with the jewelers,
look how fancy they are.
They have
little baths in there. They have a bathhouse right across the street. They want to run baths.
But anyone can go into that bathhouse. These are for the people with the talented fingers. Guilds would really hold a monopoly on imports in the area, especially such precise things like jewellery, because these would have to be imported. There's not any place to mine it around town. So you can really see the monopoly gives them wealth, and you can also see from wealth there is the
Alchemist Guilds.
Yes, the Alchemist Guild.
It's a very unique building in King's Landing.
Very Targaryen-esque.
It is built in the Targaryen style. Yeah, like
if the black was not enough of an indicator.
Yeah, it's the style that you would find in Targaryen buildings, like on Dragonstone. Yeah, this guild is really huge. I think we've
This is
actually,
definitely bigger than the stonemasons.
I think that this actually led to the house next door
Yeah.
for some reason. But so that's why I'm going back. I don't know. I don't want to get lost. It's like a maze in here. So now let's head outside again and have a look at the market square. Well, not the market hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it over there. The big building with all the market stalls at the bottom.
That's the market hall, the one with all the market stalls, in
At
case
the
you hadn't
bottom.
guessed.
Yeah, it's true.
Aye.
I got some sour leaf, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
Spices,
fish.
you want some spices?
Spices.
Oh, spicy.
Got fish, more fish,
Want some fish?
more sausages. Sausages and a random clove of garlic.
Well, I think that's meant to be, because I had plates, you can go and get food there, like you
Oh,
do in the
yeah.
market now.
That's nice.
You can buy ingredients.
Have a
meat.
look upstairs. So this is a meeting room, but the market hall isn't owned by a specific company. It's shared by everyone.
Yeah, it's probably more of like a bookkeeping thing, like how much money do we make, what taxes. Because I imagine they probably have to spend, maybe like contribute something towards it to be able
have
to
a
be
stall
there.
Yeah. So this is the road to the dragon, but you can see it over there through the thingies.
Or, you know, as the kids say, houses.
Houses.
Very technical in the server we are.
Yeah, the thingies, houses. They
You
are
know,
the same
those
thing.
things.
So we're now having a look at this building. I can't seem to find the entrance.
It's on the side. It's the bathhouse.
So we'll have a look in the bathhouse, the one we were talking earlier.
Really nice garden. I like this bit.
So it seems like you have two entrances to the side, which both lead to this little garden.
It'd
Okay.
probably be like one side for the staff bring, because I'd imagine they'd go through lots of wood. One would be more of a servant's entrance, so like bringing in the wood and
Steamy
wood.
room.
That's what I can really think of that they'd need.
Yeah.
Like
They're
a swimming
quite deep,
pool.
yeah. Quite deep.
Like I said, where you can
baths.
submerge yourself.
I suppose so, yeah.
But then they'd probably have to mainly sit around the edge, like have one arm up to keep themselves
Yeah.
up. Want to get their full money's worth, get myself fully submerged.
Here you have
Steam room?
a steam room as well. Quite nice. A sauna. Yeah, got little benches to sit on. Little small private one. Just want to be with your group of friends.
That's me and my group of friends do. We go and bathe together.
So yeah, we're at the back entrance now. I'll have a look downstairs. I think this is where
Probably,
they do.
yeah, where they
the
burn the
heating.
wood
Yeah.
to heat the water.
Okay, let's have a look around here in the basement.
More wood?
More wood, yeah. I think these are like the pipes. Oh, they're like valves to turn the heat on, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of wood. Yeah, it's quite nice to see the inner workings of it as well. You see the bathhouse in front, but then here you can see how they actually make the water hot.
Yeah.
We go to the main street as well. Over there you've got a nice inn across the...
Nice bridge in.
Yeah, nice bridge inn. Who made that one?
Probably someone really talented.
Yeah.
Two talented people.
Yeah, I'm
On a
not one of
journey.
them. I'm not one of them. Lucia is one of them though.
Me and Rick.
So now let's have a look underneath the city. This is a nice place.
Yeah. It's where I spend my Sunday afternoons.
Yeah, we'll explore the sewers a little bit. I just fell in some. This door actually leads underneath the Red Stag Inn. Not sure what they would use it for though.
No, definitely would not smuggle anything.
So I just lit a torch as well. It's a cool new feature as well of the new update. When you hold light emitting objects, they actually give light around you. So it's quite handy for dark places like sewers.
The sewers in King's Landing run underneath most of the city, especially underneath the important places. They were thought to have been planned and the construction started by Aegon the Conqueror, but then they were finished and expanded underneath Jaehaerys I.
So we'll walk around the sewers for a bit. Looks like someone forgot to close the sewer grate up ahead the square.
Don't shame me.
Okay, so let's go for a little swim in this little area.
You now have cholera. Congratulations.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm just a Minecraft person.
We have to be immersive, Kobe. For the
Okay.
kids.
Okay. Yeah. So it looks like we've got a little doorway coming up here.
So this chamber is actually, but it belongs to the Alchemist Guild. It's the wildfire deposit underneath of the Dragonsquare. So more precisely, this wildfire was commissioned by Ares II, as you may know him, the Mad King, as a kind of security blanket in case he lost the war against King Robert. His orders were for the whole of King's Landing to be destroyed using this wildfire. So if you go through the sewers and underneath some of the major landmarks, you'll actually find wildfire deposits that were put there to destroy King's Landing.
Yeah, so this tunnel is the connection between the deposit underneath the Dragonsquare and the Alchemist Guild.
After King Robert won the war, the alchemists actually noted that their ability, not just their influence, diminished. But however, when the Targaryens were in charge, they were highly favoured. So for instance, Aegon IV actually commissioned them to create him mechanical dragons, which they did. And he wanted them so he could try and conquer Dawn, but their plan failed and all 7 dragons burned, taking out a quarter of the Kingswood. So the rooms back there were actually a closer deposit of the wildfire, but only a small percentage of what they actually created. This is more of like a, if you're being attacked, to run here and take a small vial for yourself, even though you'd probably die if you threw it in
have a little back at
closer
what you were saying over
Jump.
here. This is the vault.
Jump! Jump!
This is the vault, like you were saying. They've got some vials locked up, but as you said, this is only a small deposit compared to what's spread around the sewers of King's Landing. Probably lost. Like, they probably don't even know where they put it anymore.
It's probably like every other room in the sewers has it. Like, they know there's just so much, there's no point in keeping track because the list would be too long. So there was a definite high point in their influence, which can be seen during the reign of Ares II. His fascination with wildfire grew with every visit to the guild, and in particular, the high point of his interest was in about 282 AC, where he tasked the alchemists with using wildfire to actually drive off the winter. And later in his reign, he used wildfire to burn traitors, which one of the most notable traitors was actually Rickard Stark, rest in peace.
Which was Ned Stark's dad, I'm pretty sure, right?
His brother.
Was it his brother? I think he killed both his dad and his brother.
Well, yeah, they went there and they didn't come back happy.
Well, or alive.
Was it his dad?
I think it was both, yeah. You've got a little classroom here, teaching the skills of the wildfire, a little laboratory.
I mean, actually, interestingly enough, after Robert became king, none of the alchemists actually knew how to destroy wildfire, which is why there's so much of it left. People didn't want to keep it around because it's so dangerous, but no one knew how to destroy it without inevitably killing themselves.
Yeah,
so here we are.
Yeah, because the only person who knew how to destroy it was the Ares made him the Hand of the King.
Yeah.
And was it Jaime who killed both Ares and the Hand of the King?
And there's actually a really interesting story behind that, because the 3 alchemists which were tasked with creating the wildfire underneath King's Landing, they were all cool with it, but his hand at the time, who was Lord Chelstead, actually opposed the plan and was saying, no, this is terrible. So Ares used that wildfire to burn him to death, and then ended up making Lord Rossard, who was one of the people that made the wildfire deposit, his new hand. So during the sack of King's Landing, Jaime killed, as you know, Ares, his hand, and then he hunted down and killed the 2 other alchemists involved. So yeah, no one was left that knew how to destroy it. And here we have Baelor's sept.
Because there were multiple people that knew how to make it, but only a few who knew how to destroy it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll move on to Baelor's now. We've been talking about the alchemists for quite a while.
They are really interesting though.
Yeah. So this building belongs to the Fate of the Seven. I'm not sure what its specific use are, but I think it might be a board house.
Yeah.
So now you got a good view of the sept. We'll walk through the nice gardens with the fruit trees.
Oranges?
I think oranges, yeah. So Lucia, would you like to tell us a bit more about Baelor the Blessed?
Yeah, so he was actually born in 144 AC, but actually became king in 161 AC.
So AC means after conquest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was under the age of 17. Here's actually a statue of him. So he became king after his brother was actually murdered, and quite an interesting story behind this, which works in favour of him being kind, but also in favour of him being a little bit crazy, is that after his brother was killed, they had the Dornish hostages sent to the dungeons and they were going to be executed, but he actually let them go and pardoned them, saying that he forgives them. So he was quite devout to his faith, and he saw the small folk and the gods as equals. So that's why he was beloved by everyone, really, apart from the odd person that thought he was a bit crazy.
Yeah, so that's why he built this great sept to honor the gods. And as you said with the Dornish people, this was actually the time that they technically hadn't conquered Dorne yet, even though they called it Seven Kingdoms.
The conquest of Dorne ended in 161 AC, so roughly when he ascended to the throne.
Yeah.
It's a bit touchy. They couldn't really conquer it properly, so that's why you see a lot of Targaryen Martell marriages, because Dorne wouldn't give up without a fight.
Yeah, so that's how Dorne came into the kingdom by marriage.
So these buildings here that we're actually in, they're identical pretty much on either side of the sept. So one would be for the septons and one would be for the septors, so male and female, because they wouldn't be able to live together most definitely.
Oh yeah, and also something you might have heard, when we were at the little ponds, you could hear the little frogs.
Yes,
a
thank you
nice
for the new
little
upgrade.
New update. I love the little noises.
Yes.
Yeah, the little frogs.
So another thing about Baelor, but this is quite mostly about King's Landing, the Red Keep, so we won't touch on it too much, is that he built Maiden Vault, which is in the Red Keep, that we'll talk about later, to keep his sisters in.
Yeah, another crazy idea of his.
Yeah, because he was very much about living the celibate life, because he actually forced to marry his sister Dina, but he was so much so for his faith, he did not want to consummate the marriage, and did it just to make his father happy, so he locked her away there so he wouldn't have to do the deed.
Yeah, so he literally made a building in the Red Keep to keep his wife locked away.
So what lots of people don't actually know is that Baelor's sept wasn't actually completed until after his death, but he was so popular with the small folk that they made sure it was finished to what he wanted. One example of why he was so popular with the small folk is that he regularly emptied the treasury of the crown to give money, to give bread to the people of the city. So this meant that the lords weren't the biggest fans of him, and neither were some of his family, but the people loved him, so you had to look at it of, would you rather the people love you or the lords? And for him, he was all about religion and the people, so he didn't really care what the lords thought.
Here now, listen to the frogs, everyone. Hear the little frogs.
Okay, talking about craziness, many people actually thought that Baelor was slightly crazy.
She just called me crazy.
Everyone knows you're crazy, come on. Look at the frogs. Do you hear them? Do you hear how they talk to me? So, yeah, people thought he was crazy because he shunned the life that many thought a king should lead, all the things I mentioned before, but also because he would starve himself quite a lot. One of the biggest things to point that he possibly had some of that Targaryen craziness running through his veins is that he actually anointed a 6-year-old the High Septon, because he had visions that this 6-year-old child could perform miracles even though he couldn't actually read or write. So, yes.
So that little statue we saw, it says septa underneath, so this must be the female quarters.
Yeah.
So we've got a nice little view of the houses behind the sept. These look quite fancy, the houses. Probably more expensive because they're so close to the sept. This is the side entrance. We'll have a look inside the sept.
Mm-hmm. So here we have the main sculptures of the 7.
So over here, if you look at the dome as well on top, you can see the 7-pointed star is integrated in that as well. Then you've got the big statues of the 7, made of gold.
You're going to go through and tell everyone who they all are, Kobe?
So
I know there's the crone with the hood
yeah.
and the stick. Then here on the sides we have individual septs to each specific god.
Yeah, so this is a double sept. Sept within a sept.
And then some.
Yeah, so this is the main area. You've got the nice glass decoration at top, and something really nice about the pool over here is that it actually has a reflection.
Yeah.
If you look carefully, you can see the reflection.
It's really nice.
So before Baelor built this sept, there was actually another. It wasn't called the Great Sept. It was called the Grand Sept. So a tier below, and that Grand Sept was built by Aegon the Conqueror. So he moved the capital of the Fate of the Seven from Old Town, where it was, to King's Landing. This is also the stone. If someone dies, this is where they do the ceremony. As you could have seen on this show, they do the little stones with the eyes. So we're going into the crypts now, and here you'll see a change in stone as well. Coming
Another
up in
mini
a bit.
sept.
Yeah, a little mini sept here.
Septception.
And here you can see this change in the stone. Let me just light a torch here, set it on fire. There we go. So the change in the stone, that's what was the original Grand Sept, because these are the crypts of all the kings. So back in Aegon's day, the Fate had something called the Fate Militant, which was basically an army of people of the Fate of the Seven. And so some things went down with them. But I'll talk about that more after we have a look at Aegon's crypt over here and his sister wives.
Sister wives.
Yes. And this is actually literal sisters.
Literally his sisters and his wives. Which is kind of what the Targaryens did, because they wanted to keep their bloodline pure, so...
And that is exactly what I wanted to talk about the Fate Militant. So being as religious as they weren't really for intermarrying brother and sister. So I guess they kind of forgave Aegon for it, but when Aenys I, the successor of Aegon, married his daughter to his son, they got kind of angry and the situation got a lot worse. That was about a bit over 40 years after the conquest, and they went in open revolt against the Targaryens. So this revolt continued during the reign of Maegor, and ended at the beginning of the reign of Jaehaerys I, and also meant that the Fate wasn't allowed to have a Fate Militant anymore. So now we will try to look for Baelor's crypt, and while we do so we'll pause the other Targaryen kings that came in between them and Baelor.
But one thing you can notice if you stop and actually look at the names that go with the tombs, some of them will give you little hints of unofficial nicknames given to the person by the people, so the good, the crazy, all sorts, to let you know what the people actually thought about them. So it should just be down this floor.
So yeah, there are multiple floors down of crypts of kings. I think there's still some room later as well for the future ones, and I don't know if... I don't think Robert's in here. I think this is just for the Targaryens. So we should be coming up on him soon. He has like a special room. He's got a special crypt, a big one, because he built the sept. Okay, just bossing more Targaryens, and here it is. It's a big room for him.
When his sister, who actually became his wife, gave birth to a bastard in 170 AC, Baelor actually fasted for 40 days and nights, refusing to take anything but water and some bread. But then actually on the 41st day of his fast, in 171 AC, he collapsed, and his High Septon and the Grand Master, neither of them could save him. So depending on whose history books you read, depends on whether the starving caused him to die or he was poisoned. Some history books believe that Baelor starved himself to death by prolonged fasting to cleanse himself of lust, but then some believe he was poisoned by his hand and his uncle, because of the fact that some of the lords opposed him and some thought he was a bit crazy. But if you think about if he lived longer, his main task was to dedicate everyone's life to the faith of the Seven. So if he only lived any longer, he would have probably gone up north to take on the old gods and the drowned god on the islands, causing a war.
So we've gone a bit deeper underneath the sept, and here are some things that the Fate doesn't want the usual people to see. But we're coming up on it a little further here.
Viewer discretion is advised.
There's some graves. I think it's just around the corner here. Here it is.
Behind the pearly gates.
So these are actual cells. Cells that they use to educate people who go against the Fate.
Non-believers, yes.
Yeah.
People that do all sorts, like greed.
These are special rooms to make them believe.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is something that they don't really want the public to know. So this is very deep beneath the septs, and very hard to get to as well. It's amazing here.
It's lots of go left, follow that for 5 seconds, then right, then left, then down the stairs, then left, then back on yourself.
Yeah, so if you go even deeper, you find even more cells and torture chambers. I think this is just a general sleeping area.
Yeah.
So where?
More cells.
Oh, I think it's down there that there's another torture chamber. Over here. Yeah.
It's probably one of those things, like if you're being tortured and you're here and you escape, it's such a maze that by the time you were to get out, they'd find you.
So now we'll try to go even deeper down in this maze underneath Baelor Sept, because there's another secret hiding here. So we're coming up on the area we want to show you, tucked away underneath the depths of Baelor's, in the storage areas. There is this room,
which is the wildfire deposit underneath Baelor's Sept.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, it's all over King's Landing.
Yeah, quite a lot in the sewers, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, Lucia is the main guide. She I don't know how, but she managed to find this room, which is. Tell them how difficult it was to find this room.
It took me quite a few tries, which is why I said to Kobe, you have to do a montage. You can't do it in one take.
Yeah, so it was really hard to find.
If you do want to try and find this on your own, be aware it does take a bit of time, but if you find it, we'll both be impressed. So on that note, we'll end the video. Next episode will be in the southwest quarter of King's Landing, and in particular the Street of Steel.
So back when Aegon moved the capital to here, the Fate was a little different. They had something called the Fate Militant, which was
the crazy bitches.
Yeah, exactly, the crazy bitches.